Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111. I am back after skipping town when a hurricane came through, and so I want to chat about that. I decided I was going to do a random bingo challenge as the backdrop while I talk about some things, and so I'm going to do a top row challenge, which is I'm going to take a random card. Oh, I'm not going to do one with the cookie though, and just try to complete the top row. Oh my gosh, diamonds and emeralds. Just emeralds. Okay, that's more reasonable. And I'm just going to try to go after the top row of this card. So I'm ignoring the rest of the card. I'm just going to try to get bingo on the top row. But yeah, mostly as an excuse to do something to, I don't know, play the game for 20 minutes while I talk about just the past week or whatever with the hurricane. And yeah, also just get back into the swing of playing Minecraft since I haven't played in like a week. Oh, I need pumpkin seeds, and there's a pumpkin right there. Well, isn't that convenient? That's actually really convenient. The pumpkin seeds are one of the more difficult items on the top row, so the emerald will be the only tough thing for me to go after in this particular challenge. That is great. Yeah, so there was a hurricane. I will intersperse a few random photos that I took of my neighborhood. I live like, I don't know, half hour or 40 minutes away from the eastern coast of Florida. For those of you who don't know, because maybe you're, not in touch with the news or you live in another country or whatever, there was a big hurricane, Hurricane Matthew, that came up the U.S. eastern seaboard, came up the Florida coast and Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina. And it was, I think at some point it was a Category 4 storm, but for a lot of it was a Category 3 storm, which is a serious hurricane. They have different ratings based on the different top wind speeds, and so just a basic hurricane might have wind speeds of 75 miles an hour, which you don't want to be in, but that's not awful. Whereas for a lot of the time, this was a Category 3 storm with top speeds of 130 miles an hour, which is almost twice as fast. And so that's pretty serious. And I talked in, I guess, the previous video that aired on the channel, I suppose, about hurricanes in general, as far as natural disasters go. I feel are kind of good ones from the point of view of the fact that you get a lot of advanced warning. And even though hurricane, and we'll talk about this a little bit, hurricane, you know, tracking and expectations like isn't perfect. They still have a pretty good idea of where the hurricane is going to be in 24, 48, even 72 hours. Did I? I did not. Give me just a moment here to pause and set up my hotkeys that I forgot to set up. Okay, I think that should have it. Okay, so now I can, yeah, there we go. Like having my F key mapped to my 4 slot. Okay, so I need to kill squid, and I need to get some sand, and those things are right here. So let's do those things really quick. And I already have a furnace, so I can even go ahead and get the sand cooking up. And I probably want some more wood. Okay. So yeah, you get a bit of advance notice. We knew that this was a very strong storm, and at some point, the models kind of deviated a little bit back and forth, kind of like east and west. But at some point, it even looked like this could come ashore in Florida and do some serious damage to the area that I'm in. And so, yeah, basically saw it coming. Didn't have any reason not to get out of town, and my mom lives in the interior of the state, not too far away, kind of a couple hours away, and so I decided to prudently skip town for the hurricane, and so I ended up being gone, I guess, like 4 days. I guess I left on Thursday morning and came back on Sunday evening. And so, yeah, I was away for the hurricane, so I wasn't really in danger from anything in the hurricane. But it turned out that this particular storm did not come ashore in Florida. Let's see, I've got the first two. Let me go ahead and update my bingo card, because while I'm talking, I'm going to have a hard time keeping track. Oops, except for if I'm not holding it. What I should do is do this. There we go. Take half of the stack in my hand. Okay, so Spider Eye and Emerald. So I just need to find some Extreme Hills. That looks like it's probably Birch Hills over there, actually. Extreme Hills, this looks like Extreme Hills over here. Right. So yeah, Skip Town. This storm happened to not to come across into, come ashore in Florida. It says plains here. Is this going to become Extreme Hills over here somewhere? Let me keep F3 up really quick and focus on the Stone Beach. I bet you it will become Extreme Hills if I dig like 4 blocks in here. Maybe? Possibly? Extreme Hills. There we go. Alright, let me dig a few more squares in, and then we'll start digging down. And hopefully find an emerald. And almost certainly a spider, right? And so, despite the fact that it didn't come ashore in Florida, ended up doing like more damage due to kind of like flooding and things in North Carolina, I think, than possibly it did in Florida. I don't know. Florida's a big, tall state, so it did kind of a lot of damage along the coast. Despite the fact that it didn't come ashore, it was a very strong storm, and so even in my area, that's, like 30 or 40 miles from the coast, there was a bit of damage, and I don't know if I've already managed to intersperse a few photos, but basically I just went for like a half an hour walk kind of around the neighborhood or whatever. I've not found a single thing down here. Here we go, there's my emerald. I can't actually mine it yet, because I don't have an iron pick, but perhaps there'll be some iron in the zombie dungeon that I hear. I need to listen for a moment for the zombie dungeon, so enjoy some photos around the neighborhood, and then I'll talk about them. There it is. Found it. Alright, so here's our zombie dungeon. And I probably just put some photos up on the screen while I was digging towards this place. And those are all things that, yeah, I just took within, like, I don't know, 20-minute walk of my house or whatever. And, I just took pictures of, like, the most exciting or, damaging kind of things that I found. Because that's what one does. But yeah, I was still, fair amount of damage. And, trees that just kind of like sheared off in high force winds, or trees that got kind of completely uprooted. I need to find a, what do you call eventually? Can I see where the spawner is? Can you actually get the spawner from up here? I think I'd need to be standing on a ledge, like right here, in order to break the spawner and not have the zombies come get me. So I think I can do this. There we go. Yeah, and so fortunately in all the areas that I went, I didn't see anyone who had a house that ended up having, a tree fall on it kind of thing. I guess a lot of people have already, pruned the trees or gotten rid of trees that are kind of like really near a lot of the houses. There were still a lot of downed power lines. But it was not the case that I saw anybody's, house that had been seriously damaged by any of the fallen trees right around here. But obviously some big trees down, a lot of, utility lines, power lines, all that kind of stuff down. The pictures that I was taking, the storm came through on Friday, and I took all these pictures on Monday, so 3 days later. And you can still see, despite the fact that people have kind of cleaned up in a lot of areas and kind of, used chainsaws and gotten trees off the road and all that kind of stuff, it's still the case that, there was a lot of a mess still going on there. Okay, I still need to get my spider eye, but let's go back and grab the emerald before I forget about it. Which I think is right here. Yes, great. So now I just need to go find a spider. And yeah, but I don't know. I grew up in Florida, and so I'm familiar with hurricanes and kind of, I don't know, used to them or whatever, and so what to expect. Here, another zombie. That's probably going to be another zombie dungeon. I don't know that I'm going to find spiders that way. Actually, if I head back up to the surface, it'll be turning nighttime, and I'll be able to find a spider on the surface. So I think I will do that. Yeah, but I guess In any case, the power was out for probably like a couple of days here, and I got back on Sunday night. The internet came back up on Monday morning, which was pretty nice. And it's just amazing how many, um, vehicles from the energy company, from the utility companies, are just out on the road, with the cherry pickers or whatever, working on power lines and fixing things up and different things. And to think that just, kind of like, all up the state, all up the coast, hundreds of miles, there's towns everywhere that the same type of thing has to be going on. Um, yeah, it's just kind of like amazing to think of the scale of cleanup after a storm like this comes through. All right, I'm going to have to wait a little while still for the spiders. Unless I can just happen to stumble across a spider dungeon somewhere. So let's see if I can get lucky with that. And actually, let's go ahead and cook up some food. But yeah, I think in general, hurricanes, despite the fact that they have a pretty good sense of where they're going to be, a small turn can make a huge difference. And so if this thing had turned left, on the first day when it was attacking Florida and gone on shore, and come in my direction, and we would have had to deal with the hurricane eye wall. And yeah, oftentimes there's tornadoes, especially kind of in the northeast quadrant of the hurricane, which was out at sea for the most part, and other kind of destructive things. Like, it could have been much, much worse. And so I was happy that despite the fact that if we had stayed here, like, it just would have been in this area, it just would have been, being without power for a couple of days, and yeah, just the scariness of, hearing tree branches and different things kind of like fall around you at different points. Still would have turned out fine, but it easily could have not turned out fine. So I think when you have the means and capabilities, especially for a storm that was this strong, like if you have the ability to get away and evacuate. Oh yeah, and they suspended. There's a lot of toll roads in Central Florida, a lot of kind of like major highways that go around that have tolls, and for I think 4 days, I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they suspended all the tolls. So that that wouldn't be an impediment to people trying to evacuate, and people could utilize all the roads in the state that do exist. And so yeah, actually, when we were heading out to Mom's, took the toll roads or whatever, and so it was nice not having to pay any tolls on those roads. And yeah, actually, I think on Saturday a lot of people were returning, and I waited until Sunday afternoon to return. I think on Saturday there was a bit of traffic on a number of kind of major highways or whatever, but even didn't have too much traffic. And so for folks who did evacuate, seemed like the roads, and especially having the toll roads open or whatever for everybody to use, made it so the traffic wasn't too bad. But yeah, I think it's a worthwhile kind of thing or whatever. Like, anytime you evacuate from an area, it's kind of a pain in the neck from the point of view. Okay, there's a lot of bad guys there. Let's go find an easier spider to kill, like this guy. All right, he did not drop an eye, and I'm getting attacked by various bad guys. Is it bad enough that I want to eat the gapple yet? I think I'll hold on to the golden apple for right now. And just try to heal back up and find another spider who's kind of out on its own, if I can. Yeah, and so basically evacuation, it's like most things that are related to insurance, which is you pay a small known cost in order to avoid the potential for a large, huge cost. And so, evacuation, it costs some time, it costs a little bit of money in terms of, driving somewhere. Fortunately, I had somewhere to stay with my mom living in the state. I could go there and didn't have to, pay, rent or hotel or something for a few days. And so, yeah, a small known cost. And yeah, in this case, it would have been fine to stay. But if the storm had done something different, or things have been unlucky and, a tree happens to fall on your house, yeah, then those are times that you would definitely wish that you hadn't been there. And so, yeah, evacuation is just like a simple insurance policy. And so I was happy to have done it. And yeah, in general, encourage others to do the same, or at least to think the same about what the potential downsides and upsides are of evacuating when there's a major storm that goes through. And yeah, just not to get complacent. It had been a long time since a major hurricane had made landfall in Florida, and so it's easy for people to forget just how bad it can be. And yeah, but all in all, I think, especially in Florida, it could have been much worse. And so things turned out, better than some of the initial forecasts. And so that was good. I just need a spider eye now, right? Let's just double check that I haven't forgotten what bingo card I'm playing. Yep, just need a spider eye in order to go my top row. So let me focus a little bit more on the game and less rambling about hurricanes and thoughts about evacuations and insurance and all those kinds of things. And find the spider. And I should probably use the gapple once I'm ready to go after him. Like, even if he's among some other bad guys, the golden apple should be sufficient protection, I expect, to allow me to kill. And I might have to kill 2 or 3 spiders in order to actually get the thingy that I seek. I'm not sure why so few monsters are spawning. There must be like a lot of caves below these lands, I imagine. I might go into spectator mode at the end of this just to see if there are a ton of caves downstairs, and that's where all the monsters are currently spawning, because it's really quiet here on the surface right now. If I do say so myself, and I do. Let's see. Yeah, isn't it like eerily quiet? It really is. Like, this is a whole big area where monsters could spawn, and I see no one. Here's a monster. It's even the monster I want. Hello, spider. I'm glad I didn't accidentally hit the Enderman. And there's my spider eye. Hooray! Okay. We've done it. Bingo in 15 minutes and 44 seconds, going for the top row. For no particular reason, I quickly want to go into game mode 3 and just see if there are a lot of caves. Yes, look at all the caves down here. Super, super cavey area. And yeah, even an abandoned mine shaft. There's some more emeralds. But yeah, this explains why there were so few monsters on the surface. It's because the underground here was like completely hollow. And so there were tons of places for monsters to spawn down there. Now that I'm in spectator mode, no other monsters are going to spawn, other than the ones that are already here and haven't despawned. But yeah, that is bingo. That is me. I am back. I am safe. I am going to try to get caught up on videos. And now that I've warmed up a little bit, I'm going to go play the actual bingo seeds for the week. But I hope, as always, that you guys are having a great day. I hope everybody stays safe, regardless of what's going on in life. And I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.